The card sat on Kai's desk all night. He placed it beside his lamp, then moved it under a book, then took it out again because hiding it made the room feel worse. The paper was heavy enough that it did not curl at the edges. Whoever had printed it had chosen quality. That detail irritated him. Threats should not have good stationery. He did not sleep much. He did not pretend otherwise. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the white van sliding past the bakery windows and the card appearing beneath his door with quiet confidence, as if whoever sent it already knew he would pick it up. A week earlier, he would have spent the night trying to convince himself the whole thing could be handled by staying alert and training harder. Now he knew better, which did not make him calmer. It only gave his fear more specific shapes. A man at the door. A camera across the street. Mina's face in the cafe window. Ryan turning anger into movement before anyone could stop him. The system offered numbers because that was what it did. Unmarked meeting request detected. Probability of coercive intent, elevated. Recommendation, avoid attending alone. Already solved, Kai whispered. The system did not understand the bitter little joke, or if it did, it chose not to reward him. Kai sat at the edge of the bed and ate half a cold bun left from the bakery because Mina would ask later. It tasted like sugar and cardboard. He finished it anyway. The message faded. At school, Mina and Ryan acted normal so aggressively that it became suspicious. Mina's normal involved 3 extra pens, a calm voice, and eyes that swept every hallway corner. Ryan's normal involved trying to make 2 first-years laugh by balancing a carton of milk on his knuckles. The carton fell. The first-years laughed. Ryan grinned like he had meant for that to happen, then glanced past them toward the main entrance. Kai saw the check. So did Mina. None of them mentioned it. Mina discussed the project in clipped, academic sentences while slipping a folded seating plan across the lunch table. Ryan complained loudly about cafeteria noodles while quietly marking sidelines from the cafe windows. Kai watched them both and felt something complicated settle in his chest. Fear, yes. Guilt too. But also relief. He had told them enough to make them part of the danger. He hated that. He had also told them enough that they could help keep the danger from becoming invisible. He needed that more than he wanted to admit. That was the contradiction he carried through the morning. Every time Mina made a note, guilt tightened. Every time Ryan drifted into a better sideline without being asked, relief answered it. Kai did not know how to hold both feelings without letting one excuse the other. He only knew that the old way, the silent way, would have left him walking into the cafe with no witnesses and too much pride. Rules, Mina said. Ryan groaned. Everyone has rules now. Good, she said. Maybe you will develop a spine with hinges. My spine is heroic. Your spine is impulsive. Ryan put a hand over his heart. My spine has saved lives. Mina looked at him over the top of her seating plan. Name one. He opened his mouth, closed it, then pointed at Kai. Future tense. Kai did not want to laugh and did anyway, quietly enough that it felt like a crack in the pressure rather than an escape from it. Kai looked between them. Can we focus? Mina tapped the seating plan. You sit here, back to the wall if possible. We sit separately. I take the window counter. Ryan takes the table near the door. She had drawn the cafe from memory after looking at it for less than a minute on the way to school. Tables became squares. Windows became lines. Exits received tiny arrows. Kai stared at the map and realized Mina had turned fear into geometry because geometry could be checked. The thought made his throat tighten. I still think I should sit closer, Ryan said. You think every problem improves if you sit close enough to punch it? Many do. Not this one. Kai folded the paper and slipped it into his notebook. If anything feels wrong, I leave. Saying it out loud helped. It made leaving part of the plan instead of a failure of nerve. Kai repeated it once in his head and attached the words to movement: stand, folder if there was one, door, left toward the laundromat, alley only if Mina moved first. Routes. Steps. Small decisions made before fear could argue. Mina's eyes sharpened. Define wrong. He almost smiled. Anything that makes you make that face. Acceptable. The cafe looked harmless at noon. Kai arrived 5 minutes early and spent 4 of them walking past instead of going in. Through the window, he saw the counter, the back table, the mirrored pastry case, the narrow hall toward the bathrooms. He saw 3 ordinary customers and 1 man who did not look around because he already knew what he would see. Vale had chosen the seat with the wall behind him. That was its first offense. It sat between a laundromat and a closed bookstore, all warm lamps, chalkboard specials, and windows decorated with painted vines. People came and went carrying paper cups. A student typed in the corner. 2 older women argued pleasantly over a pastry. Normal life, again, making room for something that did not belong. That was becoming a pattern, and Kai disliked it more each time. The ruins had begun as something separate, fenced and labeled. Now their consequences were slipping into bakeries, train platforms, school corridors, and cafes with painted vines on the glass. The world was not changing all at once. It was being edited in small, careful strokes. Kai entered first. The man waiting at the back table wore a gray suit and a pleasant expression. His hair was neatly cut. His hands rested beside a cup of coffee he had not touched. No visible weapon. No visible chi pressure. Nothing that would make anyone look twice. That was its own kind of warning. Power, Kai was learning, did not always announce itself by pushing against the senses. Sometimes it sat comfortably in public and trusted the room to protect it. Vale looked like a man who knew how to make a complaint sound unreasonable before anyone heard it. Mina took the window counter without looking at him. Ryan ordered something at the register and made too much conversation with the cashier. Both were nearby. Neither was close enough to be accused of attending. Kai sat across from the man. "Kylie," the man said. "Thank you for coming. If you want us to keep making more stories like this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Azure Inkblade. Now, back to the chapter. You put a card under my door. An invitation. Invitations usually include names." Kai kept his voice flatter than he felt. His palms were damp under the table. The training stone pressed against his skin, warm from his grip rather than chi. He wanted to look toward Mina, then did not. The whole point of nearby was that nearby could remain unnoticed. The man's smile did not change. "Mr. Vale. I represent a private heritage preservation group." Kai thought of Mina and almost laughed. She would hate every word in that phrase. Private meant unaccountable. Heritage meant old enough to be profitable. Preservation meant hands closed around something while smiling for photographs. Kai could hear Mina taking the phrase apart in his head, each word pinned neatly to a page. "Preservation," he said. "The ruins are fragile. Public agencies lack the expertise and discipline to handle them properly. So you watch teenagers at fences." Vale's smile thinned by a millimeter. "We watch disturbances. You have been present near several." Kai kept his hands folded under the table where the training stone sat against his palm. "Threat assessment, guarded. Chi pressure, minimal. Social coercion likely." For once, the system was exactly right. Vale slid a folder across the table. Inside were photographs: Kai near the fence, Mina by the museum case, Ryan crouched beside the maintenance shed. The images were clear enough to make Kai's stomach turn. "Your friends are curious," Vale said. "Curiosity is admirable when guided. And when not, it becomes trespassing." There it was. Not a threat shouted, but a thread placed gently on the table where both people could see it. Kai understood then why Vale had chosen a cafe. Raised voices would make Vale look like the reasonable one. Fear would make Kai look young. The photos made the accusation before Vale had to. 3 students, a restricted site, repeated visits. Truth arranged badly enough could become a weapon. Kai looked at the photos and made himself breathe. What do you want? Information. Cooperation. Discretion. Vale stirred his untouched coffee. You have encountered effects near the ruins. You may not understand them. We do. Kai doubted that. If you cooperate, Vale continued, your friends remain students with an overly ambitious project. If you do not, the city may become interested in why 3 miners have repeatedly approached restricted heritage property after hours. Mina turned a page at the window counter. She did not look over. Ryan laughed too loudly near the register. Kai's pulse slowed. They were still there. The knowledge steadied him more than the system's warnings did. Mina's pen against paper. Ryan's voice at the counter. 2 small anchors in a room designed to make him feel isolated while sitting in public. Kai did not need them to rescue him. He needed the truth to have witnesses. He was not alone at the table, even if the chair across from Vale was his. I need time, Kai said. To ask your hidden advisors. Kai let himself look confused. It was not hard. To think. Vale watched him for several seconds. Tomorrow, he said. Same time. No. The word surprised them both. Kai felt the ember stir, but he kept it banked. If you want an answer, you can send a normal message through normal channels. No cards under doors. No photos of my friends. No following us. Vale's expression cooled. You may be overestimating your position. Maybe. Kai stood before fear could convince him to keep negotiating. But you invited me to talk because you need something. I do not know what yet. That means I have enough position to leave. He picked up the folder. Vale's hand twitched. Kai looked at him. These are mine now. For a moment, he thought the man would stop him. Kai let the moment stretch without filling it. He could feel his pulse in his throat. He could feel the ember waiting beneath his ribs. He did not reach for it. If Vale stopped him in front of a cafe full of witnesses, that would reveal something too. If he did not, that would reveal something else. Then Vale leaned back. Be careful who you trust, Kai. That advice is getting crowded. Kai walked out without looking at Mina or Ryan. They followed separately, exactly as planned. They did not speak until they reached the alley behind the laundromat, where the dryers rumbled through the wall and covered their voices. Mina arrived first, then Kai, then Ryan after a loop around the block that took exactly as long as the seating plan had predicted. For a few seconds they only stood there with hot air humming through the wall and detergent scent leaking from a vent above them. Kai realized his knees wanted to shake now that the meeting was over. He locked them before anyone noticed. Mina noticed anyway. Mina took the folder with shaking hands and looked through the photos. They followed us. Yes, Kai said. Ryan's face had gone very still. Give me a name. That was the version of Ryan Kai trusted least and understood most. No grin, no noise, no wasted motion. Anger stripped down to a direction. It would have been easy to point him at Vale and pretend that counted as action. Easy, satisfying, and exactly what Vale would know how to use. No. Kai. No. Not like that. Ryan looked away, jaw tight. Mina closed the folder. We need help. Kai nodded. That was the part he would have argued against a week ago. The admission tasted strange. Help had always felt like a debt that might come due in someone else's pain. Now a refusal looked like its own kind of debt, one he had been charging to everyone around him without their consent. Han, he said. And Lena, if I can get a message to Azure Meridian. The system pulsed. External pressure confirmed. Objective updated, establish support before next contact. Not survive alone. Not protect everyone by keeping them in the dark. Establish support. Kai read the words twice. Then he looked at Mina and Ryan. We do this carefully, he said. Mina nodded. Ryan took one breath, then another, forcing anger into something usable. Carefully first. First. Mina asked. I am leaving room for later. Despite everything, Kai smiled. The card had brought silence into his apartment. It had also revealed the silence already there, the things Kai had not said, the names he had not asked for, the adults he had kept at the edge of the story because needing them made the danger feel less like something he could master alone. By afternoon, it had become a plan.